social media has emerged as a powerful tool for many reasons. Even prospective employers use social media as an additional vetting mechanism to vet potential candidates. Although in many ways social media makes our lives easier, there's also a downside to these instant public platforms. Many people have had their social media posts from the past resurface with great scrutiny. Recently, a Miss South Africa hopeful had a racially offensive tweet brought to the public's attention, followed by a heated backlash, resulting in the woman deciding to pull out of the running for the Miss SA title and subsequently being dropped by her modeling agency. This highlights the saying, the internet does not forget. Anything you post can be linked back to you and possibly ruin your future. Joining us to tell us more about how social media can affect our future prospects is lead strategist at Coalition Communications, Crooks. Lauren, thank you so much and welcome to Weekend Dawn. Now, what should any social media user think of before actually tweeting or posting something online?
So what online users really need to consider is that everything you put out into the digital landscape is in fact forever. So when we are posting something on Facebook or on Instagram, on Twitter, we need to consider that there might be someone out there who is searching for us and researching us and making decisions and judgments based on the things that they've seen. Now that Facebook and Instagram and Twitter are indexed extremely highly on Google, when someone does do research into you, some of the first things they see are your social media platforms. So your information, once it's posted, it is out there. And things that you have posted may be then screenshotted or saved. And once they are in the digital space, they then become out of your control.
Now, I'm thinking of the likes of Trevor and Kevin Hart. A few years ago, they were also under heavy public scrutiny for tweets that were older than 10 years, for instance. I'm looking at that situation, and then I'm looking at the Miss South Africa entrants who seem to have received an unforgiving audience on social media. Can it not all be something that can be forgiven? And is it not some sort of cyberbullying, what they were experiencing?
Look, everyone online is extremely critical and extremely cognizant of things that people say. We need to understand that digital is a very subjective experience. So while we could post something that appears innocuous, we need to always be cognizant of the fact that some people could perceive what you say in a completely different manner to your intention. Like you cited celebrities like Trevor and Kevin Hart, who get traction and engagement from being funny and towing the line. But there really is a limit. And in terms of posting something that might be deemed as unsavory or causes offense, it's important, first and foremost, if you're receiving some sort of backlash, is to get in front of it and be honest about it. Whether or not it was your intention to cause upset, the fact of the matter is that these things are taken the wrong way and can cause lasting damage. So in statements that you could then post thereafter, contrition really leads the conversation. Is that you need to be honest and own up to the fact that you've done damage and not make it about yourself, but make it about the effect that you've had on people. Our screens protect us from the fact that we actually are engaging with other human beings online. So when we post something quickly and instantly for instant gratification, we don't really think of the ramifications that it could have on the real people who are reading and consuming it. So it's important to always keep that in mind. And if something you say is taken the wrong way, it needs to be owned up for. There needs to be a sense of responsibility and ownership for the things that we say.
Now, what about taking action against these people for their tweets that they might have tweeted 5 or 6 years ago? Is it something that can still stand in court, for instance, if it's a case of hate speech, etc.? Are we able to lay a charge against these people?
So legally, you absolutely can. What we post online can be taken as an official statement and can be either defamatory or, in the cases of these Miss SA contestants, derogatory. So yes, it does count as an official statement. And a lot of people who post superfluously don't really understand the fact that it is a lasting statement to your reputation.
And what does this say to agencies and companies when they're hiring new people? Does it mean they have to scrutinize each and every tweet for a possible candidate that they're trying to maybe hire or get onto their team?
Absolutely. So as a digital communication agency, the people that you employ are representations of your brand. So a big part of our hiring process is doing audits of people's social media, because not only does it demonstrate the kind of creativity and value of the person that you are bringing into your company, but you need to be aware of any misrepresentations of that person, and then understand that, yeah, these are candidates who represent your company. So it's important that you audit thoroughly to make sure that there isn't any skeletons lying in the closet, if you will.
And then on the back of that, what happens when people write in their bios this little disclaimer about a retweet is not an endorsement, or I'm tweeting in my own private capacity, they don't represent my employer? Does this cover them in any way from losing their job?
It in fact doesn't, because these sorts of things are not a free pass. They are not a protective shield that removes the accountability that you have for what you say. So while you have in your bios that the statements or the things that you say are no reflection of your employer, it is a reflection of your personal brand, and it is your personal brand that you are bringing into a company. And therefore, the onus does fall on you. There is no real protection from the things that you post, because these are a part of your personal entity. And organizations are just a macrocosm of their microcosms. So they are a reflection of the people who work for them. So unfortunately, while we can say that the things we like, the things we retweet, the posts we comment on, these are not things that are not weighed into account when people are reviewing you.
What happens in a situation where they use hashtags about Bianca must fall, or Miss SA must fall, whatever the case is, this cancel culture that's become a norm on Twitter? Again, I know I mentioned something like cyberbullying, but what is the other person then to do if they are a hashtag and people want them to fall?
Yeah, there's really a big culture of armchair activism out there, and the Twitter watchdogs do not rest. So it's very easy for you to see something that you don't like and then really create a storm in a teacup about it. So it's something that, in terms of your participation, the problem is that once it starts getting shared and once multiple people contribute into the conversation, it does have that widespread reach. So as I said earlier, the only real recourse that you can take after you post something that has been taken the wrong way, or something that has been deemed to be defamatory, is to own up with it. Silence is never a good modus operandi in these situations. So what I would advise is to join the conversation. While it does open you up for backlash, again, you are a human being and you are dealing with human beings. So it's important to be contrite, to be honest, and to own up for what you're saying. Because unfortunately, once these things happen, they do become out of our control. It is open to public debate, public scrutiny, and you get caught in the crossfire for what can seem like a very long time. So that is the unfortunate fallout of situations like this. But the onus is then on you to participate in these conversations and show and make steps to show that you understand the incorrectness of what you're saying, and that's all you can do, really.
Lauren Crooks, we'll leave it right there. That was lead strategist at Coalition Communication. Her name is Lauren Crooks. She was talking to us about some of the dangers of social media and how they can possibly affect future plans. Thank you to her.